In the lab 8, which is a continuation of our behavioral model discussion, is the part 2 of that. We'll try to model some sequential machine. Okay, this sequential machine is nothing new, and we pick up the example as we did in our lecture, the sequence recognizer 1101. And if you remember, we have this state transition diagram there, and we already know how this machine works. Like, we have this continuous flow of 1 and 0 into that machine, and if there is a sequence of incoming data as 1101, then it will go and do this make the output to 1. And we understand all the state transition and what is the output through the transition is. We all understand that, I am assuming. It is all discussed in the class lecture. Now we want to see how do we model this. Okay, this doesn't involve in gate level modeling. As we did in the class, we did transform that into a state table, then truth table, then K-map reduction, and some logic schematic, right, with using the logic. In the behavioral modeling, what we all do, remember, the basic principle of the behavioral modeling is that we want to describe what this machine do. Everything is described in terms of what is the action need to be taken. So we start with, okay, we have 4 states, state A, B, C, D. So we start encoding that state. Okay, so we define state A as 0, state B as 1, 3, and so on and so forth. So we define the state. Now we set the initial state. Remember, the initial state is A. On reset it goes to 8, and let's say the initial state also, when you power up this machine, it goes into state A. So we say, okay, my state is A and my next state is also A. Okay, so that is my initialization of the state. Now for the reset condition, let's say it is a positive edge reset. So whenever reset goes to 1, it goes and reset the state, or may bring the state to the initial state, of which is state A. So it will make the state as a state A and next state as a state A. So it will keep on looping on the state A till something is changed. Now state switching at the clock edge is defined like this: always at positive edge of the clock, state equal to next state. So always, it will always happen. So we initialize state as state A and next state as also state A. That means at each positive clock, it will just loop through, it will stay in that stage of A. Okay, so it will just, whether it does anything or an input comes or doesn't come, it doesn't matter, it will just stay at A. Okay, now so this is the code for the state transition. As soon as we change the next state value to state B or something, it will assume that state as a control, as a present state. Now what we do, if there is any state change, what we do, always add state or in. So if there is a state change or there is input value change, which is one single bit, do something. Okay, so that is the main part of the code. And what it does, let's see. Now code at state A. So when it is at state A, what we all know, we know if it is in state A and input is 0, incoming input is 0, next state is A and output is 0. If the incoming input is 1, the next state is B and output is 0. So exactly we encode that here. If state equals, that is bitwise equivalency check, is state A, then if any in value is 0, next state is A, out is 0. Else next state is B, out is 0. Similarly, code for state B, if we look at that state diagram, it says, okay, if it is 0, then go back to state A. If it is 1, go to state C and make all the outputs are 0 basically during that state. So we define that as if state is B, then in is 0, next state is A, out is 0. If it is 1, next state is C, out is 0. State C, if is similar, if the input is 0, next state is D, out is 0. If it is 1, then next state is C, so it will stay on C. Remember, if it is 1, input is 1, it will keep on it to next state also is C. It will need to keep on C, so it will go and stay at C. Now at state D, if it is 0, then it is A, output is 0. If it is 1, go to the state B and make the output 1. So that is a state transition from the D. If it is 1, output 1, go to state B, which is state that okay, I have seen a 1. If it is 0, output is 0, it's state reset to the port A. So this is the explanation of the code. Now let's see the code in action. What you need to do, all need to download the code for this lab 8 from the canvas. Let's extract it and it will give you these two files. We need to create a project around these two files, so let's create it. Let's call the model sim and let's create a new project. Let's see, project, let's create a new project, and okay, let's browse. Okay, I want to do it on a lab 8, and let's say CS147 lab 8. That's my project. Okay, add existing file, we'll browse, we'll add these two files. Okay, one is test bench, other is the code. Alright, okay, now let's look at the test bench. What it does, it instantiate that machine identification 1101, that machine, and it's just sends the it sets the input stream, which is a 32-bit input stream, to this bit pattern. Okay, and what it does is send that bit by bit. Okay, let's see how is do it. How does it do it? If you look at the instantiation of this machine of identification 1101, this is my output observation net, this is my clock, this is my reset, and we are sticking in the most significant bit or MSB position of the input stream with a 32nd bit into the in position. So it will be keeping feeding the machine from this position onward. And this is the clock generation, always at 5 nanosecond. You invert the clock, initialize the clock at 1, reset at 0, then at 5 nanosecond you are making the reset to 1, that's my reset state, then bringing down the reset, and 140 second it will go and reset it, and after that it will reset it back again, and somewhere down the line it will stop. And always at the positive edge of the clock, that's another thing, input stream is left shifted by 1 bit, so it will start feeding one by one. It will left shift and just it will feed 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 0 and so on and so forth, right? So it will come to this part. Now the identifier code is like this, just described as described in the slide. So we have these in, 1 bit in, 1 bit out, 1 bit clock, 1 bit reset. Now there is an output register. Output needs to be driven by an register. We define a state register and next state register of 2 bit. Okay, initial state, as we define state equal to state A, next state is next state, always at positive edge of reset, state equal to state A, next state equal to state A, always at positive edge of the clock, make the state equals to next state. Okay, and then action on the state switching is that if the state switches or there is a input changes, go and state, if there is a state A, then do some action, change the state, and so on and so forth. So this is explained in the slide. So now we do the compilation and then load the test bench. Okay, now what we do, we go and we want to look at inside this machine. Okay, so Let's select that instantiation. We can always dive down into the instance, and we'll look out for all these variables. Okay, so we have a clock. Let's put the reset signal here. We have an input and output. Okay, now let's just simulate that. We have complete the simulation, and now let's look at these numbers. Okay, let's see. So we have the clock running here. We have the reset signal up at this point and also at this point, and we have a state machine goes on. So state is 0, which is state A, right? And we have the value. This is the input value, 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 0 1. So let's look at first the output, if it is correct. So 1 1 0 1 and output is 1. Okay, for this one also 1 1 0 1, output is 1. For this guy 1 1 0 1, yeah, that's right. And then we applied the reset state here. So here, though this the input stream is 1 1 0 1, and here 1 should come out, but see, there is a reset. So it resetted that machine. So from this point, it is basically the pattern 1 0 1 1. So this doesn't match. So of course this out is not turned on there. That's the explanation. Though we are from the sequence perspective, it is 1 1 0 1, and output should bump here. But since we put the reset here, so we start looking the pattern as kind of 1 0 1 1 kind of stuff. Okay, and then of course it again starts 1 1 0 1, there is a bump, 1 1 0 1, there is a bump, and 1 1 0 1, there is a bump. Okay, so output seems to be fine. Now let's look at the state. Okay, how is it changing? So we start with a 0 0 state A, and then we go and change the after the reset. Okay, now we get a 1, so we change the state to 1, which is B. We get another 1, so we change to C, right? We get 0, we get to D, C and C. Okay, so 1 1 1 C, and then D, and from this is 3 2, this is D, state D, right? And then we go to state B because we get another 1. Okay, from state D to state B, and from on that cycle itself we did this bump up to the output. We computed output. The next state also follows one after another. See, like H1, this is the next state, right? So H1 is my next state, H3 is my next state, H2 is my next state, and so on and so forth. So seems like this machine is working fine. So what the concept you need to do, take out from here, is that how to code the state machine. And remember, for the project 2, you need to code the machine as these 1 or 2, and it is proc fetch, proc decode, execute, memory access, write back. So you just go and define the next state, next state, next state, and it will just cycle through it. So if you have any question, first review this code, how the state machine is written, and then apply that knowledge into your project to state machine, coding the state machine. which will cycle through this 5 state: proc fetch, decode, execute, memory access, and write back. Okay, and it goes on cycling. It is not very conditional state. It is straightforward. It is very straightforward. It is not conditional like this machine. So you should be able to work through and write that state machine after this lab. Okay, good luck with this.